My experience is in Azure, and I have worked on both the IaaS and PaaS side of Azure. So I have also experience in corporate trainings where I teach my fellow members and people from other smaller companies how to transition into Azure. So as you can see on the screen, my specialization is I am an engineer, and then also I have a postgraduate diploma in full stack software development. And I have domain knowledge of working with clients in CRM, insurance, banking, and e-commerce. So this is a basic introduction about myself. Yeah, so can we proceed with introduction on you guys? Mahesh, would you like to start?
Yeah,
Yeah, Mahesh, please go ahead, introduce yourself.
yeah, sure. Basically, I am into IT and having an 11 plus years of experience,
Okay.
and I am into now system consultant designation,
Mm-hmm.
taking care of all servers and cloud technology,
Okay.
Hyper-V, VMware.
Mm-hmm.
So my plan is and my goal is in next 1 year I should be in the position of cloud technology as to work on cloud technology. Uh,
Okay.
so I have an little bit experience on Amazon. So now the trend is turning to the Azure.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to start on Azure.
All right. So shall I mention that in next 1 year you would like to transition to Azure role, right?
Yes, exactly.
All right. And before we proceed to the next person, so Mahesh, is your goal also included in terms of knowledge, and you will also want to target the certification, right?
Yes, exactly.
Correct. Would also want to target AZ 104. All right. Okay. And yeah, let's proceed to Kiran.
Yeah, hi, this is Kiran. Like presently, I was working in TCS from past 3 months, 3 years.
Mhm.
So I have knowledge in networking. Basically, I worked in networking for 1 year. Later on that, I moved to DevOps. So presently, I thought of learning Azure administration part, and I want to switch to another company. So I have knowledge in Azure admin part, but I don't have practical knowledge like migration part and migration part and Azure to AWS to Azure migration part and these things I don't have experience. So in order to gain migration part, so I thought of learning AZ 104 course from you, and also I haven't written any AZ 104 course till now.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be beneficial for me if I learn AZ 104 part, and I will try to complete my certification. Later on that I will try to switch to another company.
Understood.
So as I'm a fresher, so I thought of learning cloud technologies is like it will be beneficial for me for next 5 years.
So you have 3 years of experience in TCS, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll mention. Sure. I understand what is that you are looking for. And Prashant, may I know from you what is
Hi,
your background and your expectations?
hi, good evening. All. My name is Prashant. I am from IT. I have 4 years experience as a system admin. Presently, I am working here in India Private Limited as a senior desktop engineer, supporting to end users as well as some clients. My
And
interest is uh, move to next technology means enhanced technology like Azure, Amazon. Need to learn and need to switch to next technology as a cloud.
okay, so your focus is also on the job switch, right?
Exactly.
Understood. And how much years of experience you have, Prashant?
4 plus,
Four
almost
plus.
4 years.
Okay. Okay. Right. So I understood what you guys are expecting from it. So Mahesh, one question to you. So
Yeah.
as the output of after we complete this course, your goal is to be within your organization and then transition to Azure role, or you would also be willing to move ahead? Because why I'm asking this question is the way I will tailor fit this course is for you guys. Some people just want to clear AZ 104 and they just want the knowledge and hands-on in able to crack it. Few people have apart from AZ 104, and the reason for doing certification is the job switch. And it's very clear for Kiran and Prashant. So I would like to know from you.
Yeah, see, currently I have an opportunity to work on Azure.
Okay.
So probably if I better opportunity in existing organization, I can continue. However, probably later 1.5 years, definitely I will switch it to the next job.
Okay. Mahesh, and the opportunity that you have got for Azure, is it on the admin part?
So far, I have not got any clarity on that because since for the client and I have started working from week ago. Uh, so probably I haven't, but the access level and what are the things probably is going to explain in coming weeks.
Right. Okay, understood. So basically, why I was asking is, and Kiran and Prashant, you guys are fairly new to Azure, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like I have worked in Azure last year. Like I know, like for setting VM and maintaining VM and setting up its backup
Okay.
and file share, and I have knowledge in those things. But uh, for migration part and on-premise to Azure migration, I don't have experience. So only for that, I'm trying to learn those things. So I thought of learning. I thought of taking this course from your institution.
Okay, understood. Right. So basically, why I was asking is, do I start directly from the contents, or should I first explain you about the portal itself? Basically, that's why I wanted to check how much experience or exposure you have with Azure. So I think Kiran, you already have worked on it. Mahesh has, I think, already got a subscription. What about you, Prashant?
No, sir. I have go through AWS. I have experience, not
Okay.
into Azure.
All right. Okay. Anyways, so even to give you a refresher, Mahesh and Kiran, so I'll start from the scratch. I'll tell you about the portal and how it is all organized. And I have captured these expectations. Please let me know if I have missed any expectation. So Kiran, I have not mentioned here the migration part because that is not part of AZ 104. But definitely I'll teach you that because it's something that you are interested in, right? So I have
Yes,
not captured it here, but I'll keep it in mind.
yes.
Anything else that you guys want me to add here?
Like for job searching, migration part is necessary, right? Like from
It
AWS to Azure.
it
Like
depends actually.
I have attended 2 to 3 interviews. They are focusing on a migration part. So actually, every institution is moving to Azure platform. So everyone is asking about how we will migrate from VMware to a cloud platform and vSphere to cloud platform, like Hyper-V to cloud and
Right.
Azure AWS to cloud. These things are everyone is asking. So and I need to focus on those things. Like, that is what I mean to say.
Yeah, I understand your concern, but the thing is, in order to know about migration specifically, right, you also need to know about the source part. For example, I'll give a very small example. Sorry, Mahesh and Prashant, it will not take much time. So it's like, for example, let's say somebody tells you to migrate from AWS to Azure. In that scenario, you should be knowing the services that are in AWS and the exact service which are present in Azure. There is not something called a wizard by which you can deploy or migrate a custom application which is built on AWS or GCP or any other cloud or on-premise platform. So I will tell you the techniques and how it is to be done so that you can answer in these regards. But let me tell you, Kiran, there are a lot of work in which they will not even mention migration. So if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have this Azure admin, if you target this Azure admin AZ104 certification courses, they may be asking you about migration, but not of application, because what you are talking about right now looks to me more like a PaaS profile where platform as a service offering is there. So this course will
Yes,
train you.
IaaS profile also like it's Hyper-V to Azure platform is IaaS, right?
Yes, yes, that is what I was coming to. So you will also get asked migration questions here, but it will be more on the users and artifact side, not on the service side. So I understood your point, and I'll keep it in mind when we go through these courses. So at every
Okay,
point of time, whenever I get this opportunity to explain you how this migration could be done, I will be letting you know.
okay, okay. Continue from scratch
Yes, all
from
right,
Mahesh.
sure. And then these are my offerings and expectation. So the way I teach will be in a very practical way. So I will be teaching you the theory in my own way that will make you explain on how things work. Then I'll provide you a reference to the Microsoft documentation where you can go and read about it in Microsoft terms. And then I'll be giving you real world example for every module. So for example, I'll be not just teaching you lab demo how to do this or how to create user, but I'll tell you from beginning why companies require this kind of job, why people are hiring for this job, which tools we're using, what are the alternative tools and things like that, and why people are preferring this. So this is the way that I usually teach. Then I'll provide the study materials after every class, and then I'll expect you to go through them, because what will happen is I will give you the knowledge and you will be very confident knowing that okay, this is how we can do it, because we'll do it simultaneously. Work on it together. But in order for you to understand the technicalities and the technical terms and how the problem statement is phrased for cloud interviews or for these problem statements you might get from your client, you need to understand and go through the study materials which will tell you, for example, if I have to connect two networks, I'll be explaining you a very simple way that this is one network and another network, and we are connecting them, so this thing is possible. But if you read the same thing in Microsoft documentation, it will be something like we have to connect two VNets, VNet 1 and VNet 2 via a VNet peering or express route. So I'll need you to understand that about these terms, so that when a client comes to you and say, hi, I have this kind of requirement where I have this VNet and that VNet, and we want the resources to be shared, so that you can explain them better and you will understand what they mean. So for this purpose, the study materials that I'll be sending to you, it will not take much time. It will be very small read, but at least do that. It will also give you a practice of learning, because we'll be connecting after every 6 days, right? And it is a big gap. So if you in those 6 days, even if you take half an hour time or 10 minutes every day and go through this documentation, it will really help you. So after this, I'm expecting all three of you want to clear the certification, right? So I'll start by saying this, that the knowledge that I'll impart you and the things that you will need to crack the certification is completely different. The knowledge will be on the real world scenarios, how to solve the problems, and certification you'll have to read separately for it, because you'll have to understand the Microsoft documentation, how it's there, and I also provide you with the dumps. I'll also take your mock interviews, mock tests, which will give you the confidence boost and will ease you into giving these certification exams. Okay, mock test, I already told you I'll take it. And then I think this is something that you guys will be interested in. So I take interviews myself for these companies, and since I am a full-time Azure architect, so I also in the habit of giving interviews. Actually, right now also I am giving interviews actively as we are speaking. So there I will be helping you with the interview preparations. What I mean by that is I will be taking mock interviews from you after we finish the course in order to understand. So you will treat me like an interviewer, and then I'll ask you questions. Obviously, wherever you go wrong, I'll correct you and I'll tell you. This way you will get to know what is being asked in the interviews these days for this particular role. because I have experience on both IIS, PAS, and SAS, and all three sides. Plus, there is something which is emerging today, right now, and it's very good going. Is iPaaS, Integration PaaS, and then Azure DevOps. So, depending upon your area of interest, if you want to get good on admin, I'll take your interviews on admin, and then I will give you real-time feedback on where you need to improve, and if not, you are good to go. Then you can go ahead and start giving interviews in-house or outside your organization. So every lecture that will attend will also be recorded, so that you will be having access to them whenever required. If you want to revisit a concept, or you want to just revise, or let's say in case you miss a class because some portal reason and you want to go and check back what was being taught, so you will have this access as well. Any questions from any three of you regarding these, and if you have any other expectations from me?
No, sir.
Will we cover 303 part, AZ 303 part here?
No, so AZ303 is the architect part, so that is a different course altogether. So this is the admin part. So I can definitely teach you that, but that will not be part of this course.
Okay, fine.
Any other question, Mahesh and Prashant?
No, so far I don't have.
Okay, all right. Okay, so right, so this is about offerings and expectation. I already captured your expectations. And since today is just an introduction and demo session, right? So I have planned something for you, a simple demo in Azure. So let me start by asking, like, have you guys, are you guys handy with any Azure subscription?
Yeah.
Okay, Kiran, you have. What about you, Prashant?
No.
Okay, and Mahesh?
Uh, no, I have not started the subscription because it is 1 month free subscription is there, no?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was waiting, like whenever the course has started, so I'm going to create, so that would be help to
No,
to
no worries
create.
about it. Like, if I show you right now, I have the free subscription running. So all you need is Gmail ID and any working credit card, and you can
No,
get
that's
as
correct,
many.
but
Yes.
that is only for 30 days, right?
Right. That is only for 30 days. But what
Yeah.
happens is after that you can go with pay as you go,
Hmm.
and you just have to make sure that the artifacts that you have created, you are stopping them in time or deleting them so that they don't incur charges. If you can see, this is also the free account using which I'll be giving you the demos. So if for
Oh,
30
like,
days,
yeah.
so okay, so let me explain this way. You have your Gmail IDs or your personal IDs, right? So for Azure to give you free account of 30 days with 15,000 or 14,500 credit, you need one Gmail ID and a new credit card every time you create this. So Gmail ID is free, and in your home, like in my home itself, if I compare my brothers and my credit cards, we have a combination of 4 or 5 credit cards. Everybody has credit card these days, right? So for every credit card you can create one free account if needed for this plan. Like, basically, if you don't want to pay anything for the entire learning part, you can do this. So that is what I'm telling you. If you just want to have proceed with one credit card, then after 30 days you will have to change your subscription from free tier to pay as you go. So okay, Prashant, do you know how to create a free account on Azure?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so right now, since you guys don't have account, I was actually thinking that we'll work hand in hand for this demo. Okay, so let me, so what to do now? So shall I give you guys a simple demo on this one, or shall we do it tomorrow when you all have the Azure account, and then you can follow along?
Like, can you show me the course content? Like, what are the topics you will cover?
Yeah, sure. So course content is you can find it online. Is the AZ 104. just changed on 25th of May last month. So you can download the latest by going to this link, AZ104 Microsoft Azure Administrator. Here is the download exam skills. So you will get the entire list of module and the skill sets what will be covered here.
So is this the latest one which Microsoft has been updated?
Exactly, yeah. So if you see this thing what got downloaded, right? You will
Mm-hmm.
see first it's written the exam was updated on May 25th. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to scroll down, and then here it will show the exam guide below shows the changes that were implemented on May 25th. So below this is the latest one, the above one is the previous one. So it gives you both of them in one file to give you a comparison on what has been removed and what has been added. So as you can see, whatever is in red, right, that's something new that Microsoft added last month. So
Okay.
from here and below it's the latest one. So what I wanted to give you the demo about was on this part, not the entire thing, but a beginning of it. But we'll need Azure subscriptions to get started. I can actually just give you the subscription and you can watch on my screen, but I wanted to be more interactive, like we can work together on this. So that is why I need to ask, like, shall I just give it and you will watch, or should we do it simultaneously when you guys have the subscription?
I think for everyone doing the same thing, it will take much time. So just showing on screen is very effective way for me. Like everyone is, if you do everyone, then it will be time lengthy process. So as it was a demo only, so it will be better if you show us.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So I will show it, but anyways, it will not take much time even if we do it together because I'll be there to guide you. So let me get started. And what we'll do is, before I start, I'll ask Mahesh and Prashant to be ready with your free Azure subscription before the next class, so that you will be also able to do hands-on. So there is one thing looking at the screen and thinking you are getting everything, but you will not get very clear knowledge until you do it yourself.
Okay.
Okay, so what we'll do is I'm giving this demo which I have planned, which is small demo. But what we'll do is once all three of you have subscription, we'll again cover this topic and in great detail, so that nobody is missed. Okay, so let me start by going to Azure. So if you need to go to Azure in the developer portal, the URL for that is portal.azure.com. And there once you go, right, if you don't have a subscription, basically if you write uh, since you guys, two of you will be creating a new account, you need to search something like Azure, and once you go inside, the first thing will pop up is start free. After you click on start free, it will ask you to do your Microsoft sign in, right? So here, since I'm already signed in, right, so it's just asking for my password. Here it will ask you for your user ID and password, and after you do it, a simple form will have to be filled, and final, it will ask you for your credit card, where 1 rupee will be charged from your credit card, and that's it. So you need not worry that if you exhaust the free balance that comes with the free account, it will automatically get charged. It will never happen. Azure, what Azure does is you will get 30 days of free services, and there are many services which will be free for you for an entire year. Only few things which need cost, for example VMs and web apps, they for that you will have 14,500 credit in your account. Two things can happen: either you exhaust your 14,500 credit, or your 30 days period is over. In both of these cases, your account will be suspended on the last day. It will not charge your card. At that day, you will have to start again your account, and then you will have to choose pay as you go or an enterprise level subscription. From that day onwards, after you give the consent to Microsoft Azure, it will start charging your card basis of how much you have consumed. I hope we are clear on that. So go ahead and create your free accounts. Need not worry about whether it will charge something to your credit card or not. Okay. So any questions?
No.
And Kiran, I think you are using your Office account, Office subscription for this, right? Or have you already created a free account?
Yes, I have free account also. Last
Oh,
month I have created.
okay, great. So by last month, then I think you, how many days is left for your free account?
15 days I think.
Okay, cool, cool. So, yeah, okay, so then it applies for all three of you. So need not worry about these charges. After this is done, I'll tell you how to minimize the cost so that even if you are going ahead with the same free account, then how can you minimize your cost? I'll also tell you how to set up budgets and everything, which is outside the scope of this course, but it will help you guys in the long run. Now, for the Active Directory, can any three of you, can you tell me if any one of you have heard about Active Directory and what is it?
It contains users' credentials. Whenever any user is trying to access something, he needs to have a separate credentials to use any resource within organization or private or public, like anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, giving access, we will use AD credentials.
Okay, okay,
So it stores every authorization credentials and every usernames and everything in that server.
right. Yeah, Kiran. So you are correct. So basically, in simple terms, Azure Active Directory is a service provided by Azure, which will be used to create users, groups, and authorization into your tenant of Azure. So you might ask me, what do you mean by tenant? So if I open the Active Directory, right, you can reach this Active Directory by just writing here Active Directory, and you will find it right here. So what happens is whenever you create your free account, right, by default Azure will create a default tenant for you, and this Active Directory will be used. What I will be available. What I mean that Azure will create this for you. For example, let's say I want a virtual machine in here. So after your free subscription, when you open your, you will not see anything here. Nothing will be there. It will be blank subscription. The only thing that you can access will be your subscriptions and cost, right? Cost center. It will tell you how much. There will be a pop-up here like this showing you have 14,500 credit remaining. If you need to create anything, you will have to go here and then write for it. Like for example, if I want a virtual machine, you need to write for it like here and then add it. But Azure Active Directory is directly available. As soon as you start writing Active Directory, it will come. And if you go here, you will see here tenant information, something like this. And one more place you can see is this one. So as you can see, the email ID is my personal email ID. What I have used for this Microsoft account is aman.mvit@gmail.com. So the default tenant what Azure created for me is this amanmvit@gmail.onmicrosoft.com. So on Microsoft.com is the registrar for Azure. So basically, let's say your email ID, let's say for Kiran, it's like kiran1.123@gmail.com. So your primary domain or the tenant will be created like kiran123.onmicrosoft.com. And what this means is this is your tenant. For example, all three of you are from a corporate organization. So you would know that whenever you sign into your official office laptop, you will be assigned a corporate ID, right? So that corporate ID, you remember that sometimes you have to put a domain before that corporate ID in some of your portals. For example, you might be filling your timesheet or some kind of internal resource that you are accessing. You have to give, like for example, corp slash or global slash or user slash. So these kind of domains that you have to give. So basically, that is the tenant that you are trying to connect to. So if you go to users, if you can see, these are the three users that is already part. But if you open it first time, there will be no users there. Only one user will be there, with which you have created the tenant. So here, as you can see, there are a lot of tabs here. And the Azure, how it is organized, this portal, how it is organized is you will have your dashboard. So this is called your, this is your home page, where you can see recent resources. Whatever you have recently opened will be mentioned here so that you can access them frequently. Then you have this navigate, and you can get a full menu if you click on this bar. Here, if you can see, these are a lot of the other artifacts which are available. Home will obviously bring to your home, and then there is something called as dashboard. So this will be your private dashboard. You can customize it as per your need. You can create more dashboards. You can pin elements here. Okay, you can remove them. So right now it's the basic one. It's just mentioned about the few of the things that I have opened recently. Here you also have a shortcut of create a resource, anything you want to create inside Azure, you can start by this. Basically, this will open this tab. This is called Marketplace. So don't worry about it. I'll if this is overwhelming for you, so I'll also be sharing you links and references where it will be very clear that what is called what. But basically, I'm just telling you right now to make you familiar with the portal. Here you can select or write anything. The difference between this search bar and this search bar is that this search bar, the top one, it will search across the resources which you already have built on your portal or in your subscription. For example, if I search for virtual machine here, right, and I click it, I'll get a list of the virtual machine which already I have built. From here also I can go ahead and add and create a virtual machine. But this shows me the already existing thing. But if I just go back here, go to the marketplace search bar, and here if I write virtual machine, it brings me to the create page. It is not telling me that you already have two virtual machines in your subscription. So this is the difference between the marketplace search bar and the search bar on top of your subscription. It is a very common interview question, and it has also been asked in the certification exam. I don't remember whether it was for AZ 900 or 104, but I have seen this question. So keep a note of this. Then coming to your Active Directory. So before I proceed on users, I just told you information about tenant, right? And as you can see, this is for the tenant aman.mvit. I can go from this tenant, I can actually switch tenant. And if you can see, I have another one called Solson, demo Solson on Microsoft.com. And I can actually switch it. All I need to do is click on, after I click here, I need to click on name. It will do a reset of the entire portal. As you can see, even the theme got changed. I was using dark theme in the other one. It's like a new login altogether. So tenant is basically, it's kind of where your all subscriptions lie. You can have multiple tenants for one user. So as you can see, if I go home, right, there is nothing, and it looks different from what it was looking earlier. This is the home page, and the problem is if you go to subscription, you don't have any subscription, because for this tenant I did not got any subscription. You can definitely add a subscription here, right? And it will again ask you to sign in with a Microsoft ID which has got a certification. If you sign in with the same user ID, then we will be back to the same the same tenant what we were using before. Only thing in this one what you can access is your Active Directory, because you don't have a subscription which is needed to create everything else. So let's go back to our original subscription, and as you can see, again the themes and everything change. So here is the cogwheel where you can do your portal settings. So you can also have a timeout, right? Wherever you want yourself to be kicked out of the project, for kicked out of the portal. Right now it's never. I don't want myself to be kicked out of the portal even if I have opened it for like entire day. But if there is the option, which is actually, you will expect it to be present somewhere around here, but it's in the cogwheel, then your default view you can choose. This is home, and I just showed you the dashboard view, so you can choose which one you want to see whenever you log into the portal. This one I definitely, these are some other settings which you can see and check for yourself. This one I like is the dark theme. So you can choose between four themes. This is the default one. This is again with the only the headings and headers as black. This is grayish theme, and this is complete black dark theme. You can also put more high contrast theme by clicking and selecting these options. Now coming to Azure Active Directory, I just explained you about the tenant. What is a tenant? And this is the primary tenant that I'm using, which you will get similar thing when you open your free account. So this will be available for you. This you need not create Active Directory. Now let's say you want to add a user to your Active Directory, right? And let me go ahead and okay, leave them. So there are two options when you are inside your users. So this thing what you see here right side, this is called blade. You will often hear these in the certification exam question or with your peers when you will talk with them. So it is called the Azure Blade. So they'll not say left side menu, they'll say default directly overview blade, or they'll say Azure Blade. So you'll have to understand when they're talking about blade, they're talking about this thing which I just minimized, this blade. So here you can see we have a list of items: new user, new guest user, bulk operations, and then multi-factor authentication, and then these are the view modes. So let's talk about these two first. What is the difference between a new user and a guest user? This is again a very common question that is being asked. So new user, what will happen is, if you try and create this user, right, you need to give it a username. Let's say I'll create something for Kiran. So I'll give Kiran at the rate of, you see here, this is the part. So amanmvat@gmail.onmicrosoft.com. And if you remember my explanation from few minutes ago, this is the tenant in which I am. So this tenant was created by Microsoft for me on the basis of the email ID that I just used. So as you can see, this user ID will look something like Kiran at the rate of my tenant, right? So this is how you can only create a user. What this means is, this AD that I just created, this default directory, this AD, let's consider this is my organization, amanmvat@gmail.onmicrosoft. Here, if you are in TCS, it will be tcs.com. If you are in some other company, it will be that company name.com. That is called that is the tenant of that company. So when we created this directory, right, and it made aman.mvit@gmail the default directory, this tenant is actually acting like a small company of its own, and I'm adding a user in my company. I can give the name again here, but these, apart from these two, what are highlighted in red, okay, rest all are optional fields. Obviously, I want to give a password, so let me give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay, and then group I will be explaining in later videos. Basically, you can group a lot of people in one group so that it is easy for you to provide them access and a lot of other conditional accesses as well. So right now we are focusing only on the user. So we created the user. We have a limitation that we are creating a user, a normal user. We have a limitation. We could only create it inside the tenant. Remember this because this is very important point. And then you leave the group and settings as it is. You can be very comprehensive, give the job title, department, everything. For example, as I told you, tenant is like a small company that Azure created for you. So I can tell that Kiran is okay, a developer in my company, in which department, company name, and all of that. And when I click create, okay, password complexity requirements, you have a password complexity requirement where your password should contain all of these. There should be a lower character, upper character, number, and symbol. Basically it's standard for everything today. Let me put something, auto generate. So it generated this, okay. and then let's create. So as you can see now, Kiran is also a user which is created, which just got created. But if you see the user principal name, so this is the principal name. It will be Kiran at amanmvit dot on Microsoft.com, and it's a member. And the identity issuer is the one who gave the who issued it. So basically, I'm signed in with aman.mvit, so that is the identify identity user here. So this is how you create a user in your organization. Now you would ask me, it looks funny, right? Because it's like Kiran at amanmvat.gmail.onmicrosoft.com. It doesn't look good. Basically, when we got into a company like, let's say, TCS, Wipro, Infosys, HCL, any of these companies or any company for that matter which you are working for, you will have your account at the rate of, like, basically even your principal email will be something, your name at the rate of company.com, or at the rate company.ext might be there to specify if you are working with external vendor.com, something like that. So as I told you, this is the reason, that because amanmvit.gmail.onmicrosoft.com is the tenant, and tenant is similar to your company. So to explain you what tenant is, now let's talk about guest user. What is the difference between this new user and a new guest user? So if you click on new guest user, you can reach this menu from either these two tabs. If you click on new user or you click on new guest user, you will get the same menu. Even if you click new user, from here we can choose the invite user. So see the difference below what is happening. If I create a user, I can only create it in my tenant. But if I create a guest user, it is called invite user. Why it's called invite user? Because I am assuming that that user exists, but I want to invite him to my tenant, to my AD tenant. So here I can give, for example, okay, I have my email open. So let me invite the user called aman.mbi at gmail.com. As you can see here, I don't have the compulsion to use amanmvit.gmail.onmicrosoft.com. So that tenant is no more because I'm inviting the user. But this user is already part of it. So let me invite something else. Can any one of you guys can ping your email address? I'll invite you so you can see for yourself how that looks. Just ping your personal email ID. Anyone in this group? Mahesh, Kiran, Prashant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can anyone of you paste personal email ID which I can invite to this group? Okay. I got one from Prashant.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll put here.
Hard.
Okay. And let's say I am writing hi. And then I'll delete these. I'll send you an invite. Is your Gmail open, Prashant?
It's open.
Okay. So did you receive any email?
Checking. Yeah, I received it.
Okay. Can you? Okay. I don't think you'll be able to show your screen, right?
Yeah,
Can you try?
2 minutes.
In the meantime, Mahesh and Kiran, any questions? in the user and guest user part of the AD. Mahesh, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any question in what I taught so far? Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay. What about you, Kiran? Kiran, you there? Kiran, are you on mute? Okay. Mahesh, you would also have got an email.
Yeah, I'm just checking.
Right. Right. So I think yeah, Kiran is already showing the screen, right? Oh, it's Prashant, right? Prashant.
Yeah,
All right. Okay. Yeah. So can you see if you also have got my message which I personalized there?
welcome to my company.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So as you can see, and you'll also have a joining link. Now, if you don't click on that link yet, because if you click that link, right, it will take you to a Microsoft sign-in page, and it will ask you to either create an account or sign into that, so that that account can be joined to my AD. Basically, if you complete that, your account will be linked to this AD. Mahesh, did you got that email?
Yeah, I got that email.
Okay, all right. So as you can see, this is how we can invite external. Now you might have a question, right? That what is the difference between then a proper user and a guest user? Apart from this demarcation that we can invite any external party. So you would know that whenever you are joining a company, right? Just before that company, there is an onboarding procedure, and even that onboarding URL and database that you connect to look at your job application or your portal, even that is using the company ID. There they actually invite your email ID as a guest user, and that is how you are able to sign into their portal, reset the password, check your offer letter or your appointment dates or joining formalities, complete them, and then log out. So that's where they use this guest user. Now the question, the real question is, there is a very solid difference between these two. You cannot assign, or the guest users are a way of marking the people who are not from your company. There might be a time where you are working in a very complex organization where you have multiple different teams working with you, and they need access to the resources that you are working on as well, but they are not from your company. So this guest user is actually a way of assigning them. Then you can also have them deleted, and then in much further lectures I'll actually tell you how to set conditional policies using which you can actually assign expiry dates for them. So on that particular expiry date, their accounts will get expired, or how to mass delete them on a particular date. So these kind of things, you have much more flexibility in terms of removing those users or controlling their access policies. So that's about users and groups. Sorry, not groups, just the users part. So any question till now? Mahesh and Prashant. Okay, so I think that serves the purpose for today's demo because